welcome to Ampersand Unique Gifts and Home Decor. My name is Sarah. Alright, good news is I survived the yard sale in the hottest temperatures and highest humidity that we've had, and with a 2-year-old grandson at tow. Bad news is I didn't get any projects done this week. So I'm going to actually show you something I haven't done yet, but I'm getting ready to do. I have a couple picture frames I need to get in my booth and out of my stash. So I'm going to make them over and I'm going to take you along with me. And then I promise we'll get back to several projects that I have half finished, and we will get another video out this week that'll be my regular full length video. So anyway, let's get started. They are actual original home interior. I don't know how old they are. There's no date on either one of them. They're a little bit worn, but they just were good. They're actual wood, good frames, but I'm not loving the design. The picture's not my style, and I don't like this kind of red color. That leaves me to believe they are from the 90s or even the early 2000s maybe. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to put these pictures in here and make a set with my awesome Jesus and the children pictures that I picked up from a whatnot sale from Squirrelandbeehome Design. I'll put a link in the description. But anyway, let's go ahead and start with pulling these apart and getting that out first.
So I did actually find a couple of these on eBay that had sold for about $20 or $25 a piece, but they were definitely in better shape than mine. And I think these were really sun faded. I didn't realize it until I saw how good theirs looked. The hardest part is to pick the paint. I want something that's going to go with both canvases because I really want the frames to match. And I'm looking to see what colors in both of these. And I decided I'm going with Debi's Design Diary DIY paint in the color Electrified. It's one of her new colors from this past spring. I know, you're thinking, what? But I swear, stick with me. You will not be disappointed. I love this color, but not only that, I think that this is going to be beautiful with these. So just believe in me and watch and see how it turns out.
Okay, while those are off drying, I have to figure out how we're going to reuse our mat, because our picture is just the right size to go in the mat, but not without it. So I don't want to tear it up, but this is glued, all one tight piece. So I'm going to see, I can't find where, let's see if I can't get it apart. This may be a bust, in which case I'll be making a new mat, but I'm going to try it.
Once I finally found a place to get my spatula poked in there, I just gently went around separating the two pieces, getting the mat loose, and I was trying to figure out where to hold because I wanted to hold onto it tight, but I didn't want it to suddenly slip and end up with a Pampered Chef spatula in the hand. But I finally was able to separate these two pieces. So now trying to decide again what color we're going to paint our mat, because that green with the gold strikes through it isn't going to go with our frame. It might not have looked too bad with the picture, but we're going to use Debi's Design Diary Dark and Decrepit and give it a coat and just try to blend in that green. So This is a liquid patina, so in other words, it's a top coat, very similar to the crystal clear chandelier liquid patina that we use to seal other items. This is actually a sealant as well, but it is that dark brown. It is translucent. I know right here you really kind of can't tell, but we're going to add multiple coats and you'll be able to just see a hint of the shadowing from where that gold marbling is through the mat, but we are actually just painting this right on top of our cardboard mat. And between the two coats, I did take my hair dryer and I went ahead and dried it. Now, because this is a sealer or a sealant, you want to be careful. You don't want to get it too hot. So constantly keep your heat moving and go around so that it doesn't bubble. But the reason I wanted to do this one is because I wanted to hurry and actually get it finished. But the second is that I didn't want it to take too long to dry because this is cardboard and it was already starting to kind of bow up from where it was getting it wet. And so I wanted to dry it really well. And I did this again in between each coat. This is just the first coat, so you can really see the gold coming through. But once I add that second coat in there, it covers it up mostly. But I'm okay with it coming through a little bit. It's not, my goal wasn't to make this completely brown, but I just needed a neutral color between my picture and my beautiful green frame.
At first I didn't think about it.
Once I had it dry, I set it over to the side with something heavy on top of it to help keep it flat. And I did this to both of the mats. Now I just put a second coat of our Electrified on here. So you can see the first coat did pretty well, but the difference with adding that second coat, and there were just a few places after the second coat dried that I went in and touched it up. I am going to be using waxes, so I'm not really that worried about whether I have 100% full coverage. And once both frames were dry, we started with clear wax, and I'm about gone. I've got some that's supposed to be on its way, but it hasn't actually shipped yet. But this is Debi's Design Diary wax in clear, and I'm going to give the frame an overall coverage of clear, and that is because it will make it easier when I switch to dark wax. We're going to use Debi's Design Diary dark wax, and having that clear under there allows me the ability to wipe away the dark wax and not have it stick in the paint quite as well. It just gives you more control. But if you forget, or if you need even more control, once you have used your dark wax, you can go back in with your clear wax and it'll act kind of like an eraser a little bit. So don't worry if you accidentally do the dark wax first and forget, because you can use your clear wax over top your dark wax and kind of erase it, if you will. But here I am using my big wax brush and pushing that dark wax down inside the detail. It really brings out that detail, but I wipe it off the higher edges, and that way it just sticks down in there. And it does dry somewhere between the color prior to wax and the color after wax. So it's a little bit darker until it cures. But you can see here I put that dark wax on and then I wipe it off just with a rag and leaving the dark down inside those details. But here you can see just kind of what it looks like when you wipe it away and just leave it down in the grooves. My canvas is just a hair wider than the frame, so it's really important that I have it centered so that you can't see the edges and I get it in the middle and completely under the mat. So I just took a pencil and marked on there where the edges in the corner were so that I could get my little canvas centered and ensure that that mat would go all the way around it. So I'm just going to take some little pieces of tape and tape the corners down just to make sure that it doesn't slide when I'm putting the entire picture together, because we're going to put the mat back over it, but I just really want to make sure that that picture is in the center. Now I'm going to just use old school glue stick to put that mat back on here. And yes, I know it's kind of a pain in the neck to separate the two, but we're going to put it back together and make it so that you can't separate the two again. Amazingly, this glue stick is very strong, but we're just going to put that on there. We're going to put our mat back on top, and then I'm going to take it back in, set it down, and put something heavy on top just to make sure that they don't come apart.
At first I thought whatever, yeah. At first I thought I'd work around it.
Our last step is going to be to clean our glass. It, it just had dust and dirt on it wherever these had been stored. It just had, aged dust and dirt. It's a picture frame. You know how it works. So I actually slipped my finger one time, not today, and was when I was going down the side of a piece of glass from a picture frame. So I am a little shy on holding the edges of it. So always be careful when working with picture frame glass. I was just taking my paper towel and sliding it down the edge and kind of cleaning both sides where the glass cleaner had pulled, and I did quite a number on the end of my finger. So we are putting it back together. You can see here that my mat and my cardboard are stuck well together. And here it is with a big ring light C on the front of it. I felt like it wasn't in there tight enough. That little cardboard backing just really didn't give it enough padding. So I am just using this foam board. I had it left from some project that one of the kids did. And I just went ahead and took the remaining glass for the picture that I hadn't put back together yet, and using an X-Acto knife and a metal ruler went along my lines and cut out a piece of this foam board backing for each picture frame.
What if I open my soul?
Once it was ready to be put together, I'm using my little picture frame holder driver gun. I'll put a link in the description. This is one of my favorite Amazon purchases. If you do a lot of picture frames, this is so wonderful. It just saves you a lot of time of trying to use little nails or staples, and they just go right in there. If you purchase from my link, I do get a very small commission from Amazon, but it does not change your price at all. But that is why I put the links in there, is just to get a little bit, every little bit helps, Okay, and then I covered the back with some craft paper and some paper tape just to help finish it. I really like when the pictures look completely finished. It helps it look more professional, and it just covers up, any mess in the back of where my paint was or something wasn't even, and, it just looks better, right? Anyway, one thing I forgot, and I'd already taken the camera out of the tripod, and that is that I also brush. I do a quick, just with a shoe shine brush, I buff my wax. It just helps to make it smooth, gives it a tiny little bit of a sheen, but not much, and just keeps it from having that rough texture that the wax does, and completely finishes it out. But here they are, all finished. You can see how pretty that green turned out with that dark wax. The light, it's cloudy and the light's not very good, so I've got inside light. You can't really see that beautiful green in the pictures coming out, but it looks kind of brownish gray here, but it really is green. I'm trying to figure out how to but it matches that green, and I think it looks perfect.
The longer I've waited, more that I've tried.
Well, what do you think? Did you think I was crazy when I painted those frames in that bright green color? Did you ever think of painting a cardboard mat and putting it back in the picture before? So in the comments, let me know how you like or don't like the way they turned out in the end. I'm hoping that this video will inspire you when you're out thrifting, whether you're at a thrift store, yard sale, or maybe you're at the church auction and you see something that isn't your style, but it has really good bones. So if you are not already a subscriber, but you like DIYs, thrift flips, thrifting, reselling, repurposing, upcycling, then I hope that you'll consider clicking subscribe and hitting that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. You guys have a great day.
all covered in gold.